The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. I am recording in a different room, so if the audio quality is odd, I apologize. But welcome to What If Deku Was He-Man. This has been a long time coming, especially considering the Deku-Verse implied in He-Man is a very important character in this. So here we go. Considering the age of He-Man, I'm going to make a few things clear. I'm basing this primarily on the 2002 reboot with a few things added from the OG. And there might even be some She-Ra bleed through. You'll never know, really, until you know. While I'm old enough to have caught reruns that were over a decade old at the time, I was like, hold on, let me ask my mom. Hey, Ma! But seriously, I did ask my mother. I was like 5 at maximum when they pulled He-Man from the air. However, in 2002, it was rebooted and I loved it. So, for disclosure, this will be a character grab, not that much unlike Luna Nova. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty, shall we? I'm sure you've at least heard of Skeletor, so let's start off similar to how the reboot did. Once, a noble warrior known as Skeletor betrayed not only his brother but his realm as a whole for a great power. As he attempted to literally and figuratively stab his brother in the back, Randor defended himself, and the fight eventually ended with Skeletor taking a massive amount of acid to the face as he retreated. I shall take you to the aftermath. Randor lay in prostration before the Council of Elders in a form of recompense for his half-brother's actions. Rise, Randor. You have done no wrong. We of the Council have summoned you this day to bestow a title of great importance to you, and a tidbit of knowledge. Randor rose as he was ordered to. We shall be leaving this plane on this day. This information startled Randor. Great Council! Without you, who shall lead Eternia? All elders smiled, whether it was a grim smile or a hope-filled one, or possibly both. Randor couldn't really tell. You shall lead by example, King Randor. We leave this realm in your capable hands. The elders vanished and concentrated their power within an orb in Castle Grayskull. Of course, Randor had no idea of this action. Let's move on to Duncan, the man-at-arms. He had been sequestered away from Randor by the sorceress. What's this all about, sorceress? The sorceress sighed. By now, the elders have left this realm. I have been tasked with guarding this castle and the power it holds. However, I have a prophecy for you, Duncan. One day, the son of King Randor shall bear this sword and become a magical warrior known as... We all know the name, so I'll spare you that. Quite some time goes by, and Marlena has twins, a boy and a girl, named Adam and Adora. However, as if fate, Randor's mistress, who was also with child, went into labor at the same time. I don't think I need to state this, but I will anyway. That mistress was Inko, and the child is Izuku. He was born the exact same moment that Adam was. Under normal circumstances, Izuku would be considered a bastard, but Inko is Randor's registered concubine. So Izuku shall be seen as the king's legitimate son. However, for suggestion purposes, Izuku is last to the throne. Fans of the OG series know that Adora was kidnapped as a babe. Inko decided to sneak into the nursery to pamper the babies unhindered by Marlena, who hogged the children. She even hogged Izuku. It's like she just loved spoiling the babies rotten. The moment Inko lays eyes on the man in the nursery, Inko shouts out, "Intruder in the royal nursery!" and fires a bolt of arcane energy in hopes to make him stumble. But as she notices what's in his hands, she changes the trajectory of said bolt. "That fiend has one of the children! How dare he steal my younglings!" Yes, Inko referred to the children as younglings. The church she had served in was run by Adrenids, and some of their mannerisms took, since she had been there since she was a youngling herself. Inko's cry of alarm alerted the castle, but it was too late. The intruder would not be found, and the missing baby was confirmed to be Adora. Some of the less honorable nobles would blame Inko and say she was implicit in the kidnapping to further her son's future influence. Any who dared say that out loud would be silenced, if not by Randor himself, then by Marlena's backhand and icy glare. Needless to say, Izuku and Adam were cherished as the last remaining heirs to the throne. Adam would grow up to be an utter goofball and rather lazy, while Izuku grew up like he had something to prove, which in his mind he did. But in reality, none of the people that mattered would ever think any lesser of him if he chose to take it the easy route of being a royal like his brother did. Izuku was versatile in the ways of the sword and bow. When his mother spoke of clerical matters, he listened, but he preferred to dabble in some of the arcane. So when Orko the Jester, and subsequently a wizard, would do his thing, Izuku would watch and listen and learn a little bit. Tila, the daughter of Man-at-Arms, would be a steadfast friend to both Adam and Izuku, and would lecture Adam quite often whenever he missed practice. However, Izuku would oft defend his brother. "Trust me, for each session he misses with your father, I put him through the ringer. He's the heir apparent. Let him slack off every now and again. I mean, I do enough work for the both of us." Tila didn't know whether to groan or smile at that, so she shook her head. A few hours later, Randor and Marlena come to check up on their training. Tila bowed, and Izuku bowed even lower, much to Tila's surprise. My king, it is an honor." Randor pulled Izuku to his feet. "How many times must I tell you that you needn't do that, my boy? You are second in line to the throne, and while you may not be the child of Marlena, her mother is my official concubine. You are an heir. Act accordingly. If you must bow, then bow like Tila, not like some commoner that I don't even know. And Adam, are you slacking again? I wish you had a fourth of your brother's drive."
There he goes, comparing me to the Boy Scout again,
Adam thought to himself. Don't get me wrong, Adam loves his brother, but his disposition gets on his nerves sometimes. In the eyes of everyone, Izuku could do no wrong. He was the perfect heir, but Adam knew why Izuku strived so hard. For some reason, Izuku felt inferior to Adam, and for the life of him, he had no idea why. The tutors won't stop praising him. The maids adore him. Man-at-Arms favors him in training sessions. Their parents, and yes, I'm including Inko in that, love him unconditionally. And the kicker, he has Tila's affection. Adam had seen the two walk into a discreet location, heard a few moans, and later on saw Tila giggling like a schoolgirl while holding on to them not long after they returned to the public view. Seriously, though, does Izuku not realize how lucky he is? Or does he, and is he just trying to earn it when he doesn't really need to? Well, at least he knows when to let loose by the looks of Tila when they return from their rendezvous.
Tila is a little too much for me, but get her, bro.
Everything was great. Man-at-Arms approached Adam. Adam, I have something to talk with you about later today. Meet me at the stables midday. And no, you are not in trouble. On another note, Izuku and Tila were having another one of their rendezvous at the other end of the castle grounds. They had themselves quite a good time and spent the rest of their day in a loving embrace. Or rather, they would if events hadn't come into play. A dark cloud looms in the distance, and this castle comes under attack by none other than Skeletor and his forces. Izuku and Tila rush to get their clothes on, and once they do, he reaches for armor. Yeah, I don't have time to put that on. Looks like it's spell armor for me. The two lovebirds grab their weapons and fly into battle to defend the castle. Skeletor crosses blades with Randor. As he is about to make the killing blow, Izuku throws a wave of magic from his hands and knocks Skeletor away. Father! Tila and I have this. Take Mom and Mother and go to safety. Randor wanted to argue, but he was in no condition to do so. Inko and Marlena grab Randor and they escape. Between Izuku, Tila, and the guards on duty that hadn't gone with them, Skeletor is forced to retreat. This was cause for celebration, and while they should be celebrating, what Man-at-Arms is holding in his arms would end that thought at once. In his arms was the corpse of Prince Adam. No! Izuku shut down completely and fell to his knees in tears. You know that look when Deku found out he was quirkless? Well, multiply that by 3 and that's what you got. Adam was Izuku's raison d'etre, his reason for life, and bettering himself. He wanted to be able to protect Izuku, but in this case, he failed. Not long after the funeral of Adam, Man-at-Arms is at Castle Grayskull. Huh, what now of your prophecy, sorceress? The sorceress smiles, albeit a sad one. Calm thyself, Duncan. While it would seem that Adam was the one, it truly and always has been Izuku's destiny. I know this is rather soon, but we need Izuku to take the power sword in his hands and become the protector of this land. Man-at-Arms was apprehensive, but still made his way back to the castle to fetch Izuku. It would be hard to get him away from his parents and watchful gaze, but this needed to happen. A gentle rap at Izuku's door could be heard, and Izuku rushes for the door. Tila, thank you for Man-at-Arms. Izuku had clearly been weeping, and Man-at-Arms couldn't blame him. His brother had only been dead for a week after all. This was going to be a hard subject to bring up. It'll be a tough job to do for the sorceress. Put this on, Izuku. We must make haste to Castle Grayskull. Izuku was hesitant, but when he saw the look in his instructor's eyes, he gave no lip. The two escaped into the night and made it to Castle Grayskull unnoticed. When they entered, "Greetings, Prince Izuku. I am the sorceress of Castle Grayskull, and we must have words." Izuku gave a gentle bow fitting his position and followed the sorceress to the power sword. "This is the power sword, Izuku. It is a gift from the elders, and it shall grant you the power to protect this realm as the mighty warrior, He-Man. Grab the sword, hold it aloft, and say, 'By the power of Grayskull.'" Izuku was looking at her with anger in his eyes. "Where was this so-called power when my brother was killed? Why couldn't you have come to me sooner?" The sorceress sighs. "Visions of the future are never as clear as one would hope, Izuku. The gods can be cruel in that manner. I always knew that this power would one day be bestowed to one of Randor's sons. However, I did not know for certain until recently that you were the chosen one." "So all it took was my brother dying, huh? Process of elimination. How convenient for you that one of the options is dead. If you had just made up your mind..." Izuku stopped himself from saying something unforgivable after he saw the tears on her face. He made his way to the sword.
"Yet another thing I'm going to have to spend my life proving I deserve."
He held up the blade aloft. "By the power of Grayskull! I have the power!" With this, He-Man had been born, and little to their knowledge at the moment, Orko had followed them, along with Cringer. If you liked that, let's get a United States smash on that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider going full cowling with that subscribe button. And let's go plus ultra with the notifications. Ring that bell, baby. Rest easy, Deadites. And remember, the night is ours.